Today I'm showing you step by step how to make these reimagined lemon tarts. I'll walk you through my entire cake design and recipe development process for creating a modern version of one of the most traditional desserts, showing you how I take the lemon tart from classic to iconic. My name is Louise and I'm a self-taught cake artist. Welcome to another episode of my baking series from classic to iconic, where I turn classic desserts into modern entremet cakes. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to make a modern version of one of the most classic cakes, the lemon tart. In addition to the classic lemon and meringue combination, this elevated version also introduces notes of almond and caramel. It's enhanced by new textures like crunchy elements and a smooth broken gel, and it all comes together in a spring-inspired cake design. I'm going to show you the process behind developing this cake recipe, my thoughts behind recreating one of the most traditional cakes, the lemon tart, and how I created a version that I think celebrates both tradition and innovation. To make this cake, I'm also going to show you how to master the following techniques. How to make a crisp pâte sablée, a crunchy lemon caramel feuilletine layer, a smooth lemon curd, a fudgy almond caramel ganache, a creamy lemon broken gel, an airy lemon and white chocolate mousse, a shiny transparent mirror glaze, and a fluffy Italian meringue. I'm going to show you how to make the following layers: pâte sablée, lemon caramel crunch, lemon curd, almond caramel ganache, lemon broken gel, lemon and white chocolate mousse, transparent glaze, chocolate ribbons, and Italian meringue. I'm also so excited to finally share that I've been working on a new online course that's launching very soon. My new online course, Mastering Entremet Cakes from A to Z at Home, teaches you my proven 5-step entremet formula: cake base, crunch, soft element, mousse, and decoration, so you can create elegant entremet cakes from start to finish. The course also covers science of baking, recipe development, and cake designing, giving you everything you need to start creating your own cakes at home. To stay updated for the course launch, you can sign up to my newsletter here. So stay tuned, I really can't wait to share it with you very soon. Okay, let's get started. To make a modern twist of the classic lemon tarts, I wanted to introduce a slight hint of some other flavor notes. Here I decided to go with almond and caramel to balance the bitterness of the lemon. To introduce a fudgy consistency to the classic lemon tart, I decided to make an almond ganache by mixing almond butter with caramel and white chocolate, heating heavy cream almost to a boil, and pouring it over it while stirring in the middle until the ganache becomes glossy. I hand blend the ganache to get it even more creamy and fill 75% of each insert mold with the ganache. Then the ganache needs to set before we can add the next layer. To modernize the traditional tart, I wanted to introduce several textures of lemon. So I went for one of my favorite ways to introduce a pure food flavor, a broken gel. I start out by heating lemon juice, sugar, and agar-agar in a small saucepan for around 1 minute until the agar-agar has been cooked to be activated. I then pour the hot mixture in a plastic container where it needs to set in the fridge before we can blend it into a smooth broken gel. I hand blend this set broken gel with an immersion blender and fill up the insert molds with the broken gel in a piping bag. Then the inserts needs to freeze overnight. To add a decorative and airy element to the tarts, I decided to encase the cake inserts with a mousse. I debated whether to make a pure lemon mousse or mix it with white chocolate. In the end, I went for a mixed lemon and white chocolate mousse to have a balanced flavor, as we already have a lot of lemon flavor from the broken gel and later on also from the lemon curd. After melting white chocolate, I heat lemon juice and heavy cream almost to a boil, adding soaked gelatin and put over white chocolate while stirring. Once the mixture has cooled, I whip heavy cream to a lightly whipped foam and fold it into the cooled mixture. Now we need to fill our silicone molds around 85% with the mousse before gently putting in the frozen almond ganache / lemon broken gel inserts. Then the mousses needs to freeze overnight. For the tarts, I'm using my favorite Sablée tart dough to resemble the traditional lemon tart with a crispy texture and a buttery flavor. I make the Sablée by first mixing all-purpose flour, almond flour, icing sugar and salt before I add grated cold butter. I mix the butter with the dry ingredients until the dough has a sand-like texture and there's no big pieces of butter left. Then I briefly, and only briefly, collect the dough with the egg, as we don't want to over-knead the dough. We then roll the dough out between 2 pieces of baking paper and let it set in the fridge for around 2 hours. I cut out tart bases with an 8 cm diameter tart ring and line the sides with the dough. Lastly, I bake the tarts for 12 to 14 minutes at 175 degrees until golden to get a crispy and caramelized surface. I wanted to add some new textures to the classic tarts, which is why I decided to make a lemon caramel crunch layer. I here mix all the ingredients together: caramel chocolate, feuilletine, Biscoff cream, lemon zest and salt, and fill a layer of the crunch in the cool tarts. Then the crunch layer and the tarts need to set in the fridge before we can pour on the next layer, as the crunch otherwise will become too soft. The very hero layer of the lemon tart as we know it is the lemon curd, so of course I had to include this one as well. I here make my favorite lemon curd by whisking lemon juice, eggs, egg yolks and sugar together, heating it to the boiling point while I keep whisking until the cream thickens. I take the pan off the heat and mix in soaked gelatin and cold butter before straining the curd. Lastly, I hand blend the curd to get a fully smooth consistency. I actually also debated whether to make a baked lemon filling, but then I wouldn't be able to add the crunch layer, which is an important element for the textures in these tarts. After the curd has cooled a bit, I fill the tarts with the curd and put them in the fridge so they can set fully. I wanted to add that extra shine without covering the mousses, as I do like the natural off-white color of the lemon and white chocolate mousse. So instead of a mirror glaze, I decided to make a transparent glaze. Here I heat sugar, water and glucose syrup in a saucepan to 105 degrees. I then take the pan off the heat, whip in soaked gelatin and add strained lemon juice before straining the full glaze in a tall jug. I cover the glaze with cling film and then it needs to cool down to 35 degrees. Right before glazing, I take the frozen mousse cakes out of the freezer, place them on a cooling rack and pour the glaze over the cakes. I then place each glazed mousse cake on top of the tarts. If we're saying lemon tart, we're also saying meringue. For me, this was a must to include to keep the main elements from the classic tarts. My go-to is always an Italian meringue, as I just prefer this texture the most. So I make the meringue by whisking egg whites foamy with a hand mixer, adding sugar, and whisking egg whites to soft peaks. Then we heat glucose syrup, sugar and water to exactly 118 degrees. While whisking the egg whites, I pour the 118 hot syrup in the egg whites. Then we just need to whisk the meringue until it's firm, cold and glossy. I put the meringue in a piping bag with a large round pastry tip and pipe a drop of meringue on top of each tart. To create a visually coherent look for the tarts, I decided to add a narrow chocolate ribbon in the same color as the mousse, so an off-white color. I make the chocolate ribbons with tempered chocolate and a chocolate scraper. And not to forget, we also need to toast our meringue. I do this with a blowtorch where I gently toast the meringue on one side. Once the ribbons have set, I place them around the tarts with melted white chocolate. And here we have the final tart that I think looks super cute, elegant and ready for spring. I love the fresh look of these tarts with the shades of yellow, white and green that to me resembles the traditional lemon tart from inside and out, taking the traditional cake from classic to iconic. This cake is truly amazing. To me, this really is the perfect version of a modern lemon tart because we have the known flavors from the zesty lemon and like the fluffy meringue, but also introducing some new textures and flavors with almond and caramel. We have some crunch, we have some smooth elements with the ganache and the mousse. So all in all, I think this takes the beloved traditional dessert from classic to iconic. I hope you get the chance to make these delicious lemon tarts at home, and if you like my videos, make sure to subscribe, and you can also check out my entremet cake playlist here. See you in the next video!